I'm Dan from the International Recruitment Team. Thanks for joining us. I hope you're safe and well. Today, we're inviting you to think about a Federation for Social Work and Community Services. These are increasingly popular subject areas as they offer students the chance to gain both a deeper understanding of the world around them and the potential for rewarding potential careers, helping individuals and communities to improve their conditions and lead better lives. Later, we'll be hearing from academics about the engaging and professionally accredited degrees we offer at undergraduate and postgraduate level. Our final presenter, Mohammed Salman, came to Federation as a student on our Master of Social Work qualifying degree and is now a tutor on our Bachelor of Community and Human Services. So he'll offer a really insightful perspective on the experiences and opportunities that international students can enjoy at Federation. Beautiful regional city of Ballarat, just an hour on the train from Melbourne, in the state of Victoria, in the southeast corner of Australia. We also now have campuses in Melbourne itself, the regional Victorian area of Gippsland, and in Brisbane, the capital city of Queensland. Federation University has an outstanding reputation for teaching quality, student support, and graduate employment. In fact, according to the Good Universities Guide 2020, we're currently rated the #1 university in Victoria for teaching quality, student support, full-time graduate employment, and median graduate starting salary. So students who study with us enjoy a world-class learning experience and outstanding employment outcomes, finding jobs faster and earning higher salaries than students from any other university in Melbourne or across Victoria. Our tuition fees are very competitive, and we offer a range of valuable scholarships, helping you to afford the cost of study. We offer small class sizes, personalised support, and industry-relevant courses across a wide range of study areas, including business, engineering, information technology, nursing, and teacher education. But today we're here to talk about social work and community services. Federation University has an excellent reputation for providing students with the skills and experience to make a positive difference and succeed in their careers. We offer close industry connections across Melbourne and regional Victoria through degrees that are professionally accredited by the Australian Community Workers Association and the Australian Association of Social Workers. According to the Good Universities Guide, we're currently rated the #1 university in Australia for full-time employment and student support, and the #1 university in Victoria for learning resources and learner engagement for our programs in social work and community services. So let's hear about those degrees. Our first expert speaker is Dr. Tejaswini Patil, Program Coordinator for our Master of Social Work qualifying degree, one of our most popular programs. Tejaswini will also be discussing our brand new Graduate Certificate of Social and Community Services, a valuable qualification and a pathway program for students who haven't previously studied relevant subjects to enter our Master of Social Work degree. Okay, Tejaswini, microphone ready, over to you.
Thank you, Dan. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this information session. I'm Dr. Tejaswini Patil. I'm also senior lecturer, but also the acting program coordinator for the Master of Social Work qualifying program. My own background, I came to Australia to do a PhD at the University of South Australia, and I'm very passionate about internationalization of social work education, internationalization of curriculum, as well as around social identity and issues, particularly in relation to colored people of color. So this is my teaching and research interest. Now, why we are all here is to discuss social work. If ever there was a time that was more demanding and more wanting us to think about the world around us and how we can make an impact and difference. Well, social work as a profession, historically in time immemorial, has been at the forefront of thinking about people around us and the world around us. And this is one of the big reasons why at this important moment in history that we have to think about the role of social work and studying social work to make a difference. So that, if you like, is one of the key reasons. The next one is this program is accredited by the Australian Association of Social Workers. It has got a very unique and flexible structure. That is, it's got seminars which are run for every subject on Fridays every fortnight. Then it has got 140 days of industry placements that builds your skills, your knowledge base, as well as competencies, but also your own self-competence, and develops networks and relationships. And of course, as Dan, my colleague, suggested, Federation University, it's known for its student support and also specifically support around English language services and academic support. So these are also some of the reasons why I study social work. Now let's come to what about the career prospects. Now The Guardian, a well-respected newspaper, published in 2018 from memory a news article saying that social work is the fastest global growing profession around the globe. So all in different continents of the world, Latin America, South America, the Asia Pacific, Europe, etc. Even the Victorian Council of Social Services argued that for the next 5 years, the fastest growing profession will be in social care and the health sector. So clearly there are a number of opportunities and advantages and benefits by undertaking social work degree. Some of the examples of the opportunities you would have would be to work as a qualified social worker, be it in a hospital setting, be it in particularly NDIS, the National Disability Insurance Scheme. You could be a mental health, so qualified social worker. You could be a caseworker, youth work, advocacy. So the variety of fields, child protection, family violence. So not only diverse sector-based opportunities, but also very different roles. Another advantage of social work particularly is the fact that it allows you to upgrade your skills and move into middle to upper management. For example, currently you are a team leader. If you want to become a project manager or project leader, having a master's qualification, particularly social work, is very advantageous. The other aspects which are very important about the unique degree structure is the fact that we have got 6 semesters. I think we need to move the slide to the next one. Yeah. So the unique degree structure. So what we have got is 6 semesters across 2 years, 240 credit points. There are seminars every Friday. So you've got, every other Friday, I should say, or every alternate Friday. Every subject has got 3 seminars on alternate Fridays. Then you've got, why have we designed it that way? It gives you flexibility to balance your work life and other commitments. B, and more importantly, allows you to undertake self-paced, independent study, and that's the key reason. Then there are 140 days of industry placements in a range of social work settings with professional mentoring, supervision, and training. And I think the magic, if you like, of professional degrees such as social work, teaching, education, etc., is the capacity to integrate theory to practice. And I think you will find that in a social work program through the industry-based placements we have. Now, what about the degree itself and the content? That is the areas you will study. You will learn of knowledge of social work theories, as well as practice frameworks to try and work with young people, children, and families. You will also work with working with groups and communities. One of my colleagues, whom you will hear later, teaches groups and communities. So that's another area you learn about. You will also learn about advocacy. You will learn about research. I teach research, as well as cross-cultural practice, how to undertake social work practice in diverse settings. And also you learn about human rights and also the legal, with a legal angle. Now, in terms of giving you a sample of what might be some of the courses that you might come across in the MSWQ program. In the first year, I talked to you about social work theories. So for example, foundations of social work, then some practice-based subjects such as social work practice with children, young people, professional social work practice, and then you will have your industry placement. Then the second year of your program, you will look at human rights, you look at research and advocacy, and then of course your final placement. So this is just a sample of how your program structure is distributed across the 2 years. Now let's come to industry placements and what is the value of the industry placements. One of the, as I said, the magic of professional degrees is the capacity to learn in real life world scenarios by being trained in the workplace. That is, you can integrate and embed whatever you have learned in the classroom setting into the workplace environment. So that's one of the advantages and the significant benefits. The other thing is placements. Students are supported through these various placements because there is professional mentoring, there is supervision on these placements, both by university appointed staff as well as agency appointed staff. So that's another benefit of industry placements. The other thing which is really unique, not only about Federation MSWQ program, but also Federation University per se, is the fact that it has got 3 different campuses in a very broad geographical spans of Victoria. So we've got the Ballarat campus in Western Victoria, we've got the peri-urban Berwick campus in southern Melbourne, near the southern Melbourne metropolis, and then you've got Gippsland. So what this has also done is it gives students a capacity to undertake and build networks, relationships, professional relationships with agencies spanning across regional as well as urban Victoria. So that's another advantage of industry placements with us. Once again, just going back to entry requirements, the key thing is this program is accredited by the Australian Association of Social Workers. And of course, you have to have a bachelor's and you would have to have at least 1 year of training in disciplines such as psychology, community work, politics, public health, if you have counseling, disability, etc. For more details, I would suggest you go to the website where you will have a full list. Now, if you have not, you're just finished year 12 or you've got a diploma and you are interested still to make a difference in the world and you care about social issues, then don't worry. We have got undergraduate pathways. My colleague will speak to that in relation to the Bachelor of Community and Human Services. We've got that program. Then we've got the Bachelor of Human Services and Entrepreneurship. Now, you may have already finished your bachelor's and you are interested in a career change, or you're looking at social work as a profession. Then you don't have then you have the graduate certificate pathway. You may not have the entry requirements directly to get into the MSWQ. Then we have another pathway for you. It's called the Graduate Certificate of Social and Community Services. It's a newly introduced program. It's got it's got 4 subjects or 60 credit points. It is offered at Ballarat, Berwick, and even online. So again, for all face-to-face students, you would attend 3 seminar days per subject. That's total 36 hours of face-to-face contact. Some of the subjects are professional ethics, in contemporary issues in welfare, introduction to community and human service, practice theories and frameworks, and also health psychology. So you will be able to be introduced to foundational knowledge, which will allow you to enter into the MSWQ program. Now let's go to career pathways and graduate success. I don't know if you remember, I said at the beginning, social work is the fastest growing profession internationally. So you have a number of career pathways: qualified social worker, case manager, case worker, policy officer, researcher, so on and so forth. But the beauty of being in my position, one of the rewarding things of being in my position, is seeing graduates moving from being students to actually getting gainful professional employment. For example, Ghazi was was supervisor on his placement. Currently, he is in the middle of Australia in Alice Springs, and he's employed in Aboriginal cooperative in an organization. Then we've got she, who was also our student, and she went on to become to be employed by Federation University in the International Student Support and Scholarship teams. This is really one of the joys for me in the role I have, is to see success of students. Now let me ask Dan to take over. Thank you everyone for attending.
Thanks, Tejaswini, for that really excellent, passionate overview of the flexible structure and exciting opportunities available to students on our Master of Social Work degree. I'd like to quickly run through the costs, admission requirements, and locations for this degree. So the Master of Social Work qualifying degree currently costs $25,800 per year. This is already a very competitive price, but we also have an International Excellence Scholarship worth 16% of tuition fees for international students who've achieved highly in their undergraduate degree. So the cost of the Master of Social Work can be reduced to $21,672 per year for students who meet the scholarship assessment guidelines. In terms of entry requirements, all applicants must have successfully completed a recognised 3-year Australian bachelor degree or international equivalent. As Tejaswini explained, all applicants do need to have at least 1 year's worth of relevant units in their previous university study in order to meet the entry requirements set by the Australian Association of Social Workers. You can find an extensive list of all relevant subject areas in the entry requirements section on the Master of Social Work course page on our website. For English, you need to have achieved an overall academic IELTS score of 6.5 with no individual band requirements or equivalent test score. So our Master of Social Work degree is offered at our campuses in Ballarat in regional Victoria and Berwick in Melbourne. In Ballarat, the course is available to start in semester 2, July each year, and in Berwick, you can start in semester 1, February. Due to the course structure, it's not possible to transfer between campuses after you begin your degree. If you're currently living overseas and interested in starting your studies with us in July this year, you do have the opportunity to start your degree online and then transition to studying in Australia when the borders reopen. Our new Graduate Certificate of Social and Community Services is a single semester program that costs $12,900. All applicants must have successfully completed a recognised 3-year Australian bachelor degree or international equivalent in any discipline. They also need to have achieved an overall academics IELTS score of 6.5. The graduate certificate is available online for offshore students or as a blended learning option for onshore students, with 3 on-campus seminar sessions every fortnight and a total of 36 hours on campus in total. In semester 2, the course will be run from Ballarat campus, and in semester 1 from Berwick in Melbourne. Okay, now I'd like to hand over to our second expert speaker, Michelle Hunt, a lecturer on our Bachelor of Community and Human Services. This is a degree for undergraduate students who are passionate about improving the lives of others and want to learn the crucial skills, knowledge and ethics that are needed to do that well. So Michelle, microphone ready, over to you.
Thanks, Dan. Welcome everyone. I have a background in community development work and social work, and before I joined the teaching team at Fed Uni about 3 years ago, I've been working in the community and human service sector for 20 years. So over that 20 years, the variety of jobs I've done kind of attest to the range of opportunities that are available to you in the sector. So I've worked in health promotion, I've worked as a counsellor, a case manager, a group facilitator, and I've also had roles in policy and project management management. As well as teaching, I continue to be involved in the community sector in the region through research, as well as at a board level in a community organisation in our region, particularly related to domestic and family violence. So the Community and Human Services degree is offered across the 3 campuses, so the regional Gippsland and Ballarat campuses, as well as Metropolitan in Berwick, and flexible and online learning. So you've got that flexibility there. It's an accredited degree with the Australian Community Workers Association, so as well as a qualification, it's also a recognised qualification in the sector. It's a generalist degree, so it can progress you to a range of different areas. So it'll prepare you for a career as a counsellor in social research, youth justice, family and disability support, aged care, community engagement programs through local councils and things, and much more. So it's one of Australia's fastest growing industries, community and human services, and we often have students who actually begin working in the sector prior to even finishing their degree, so particularly in disability support or youth residential care positions, and certainly also once their degree's completed. I think just in the last week, I've had contact with a former student who's now working as a family violence case manager at one of our local organisations, and provide a referee check for a former student as a homelessness case manager in the last week as well. So we certainly see some good prospects. The degree is 3 years, so 6 semesters. In the first year is a lot of introductory subjects, including preparation for study if you're feeling a bit uncertain about what the requirements are at a university level of study. There's electives available in the first year and again in the second semester in the second year. So as well as the core subjects that you'll need to work in the sector, you can also tailor your degree a bit to your areas of interest, so psychology, business, criminology, sociology. We develop our subjects with the sector so that we ensure that our graduates have the skills and knowledge that you need to work in the sector. So we use case studies, scenarios, role plays that we've worked with our industry partners. And we also use things like interviews with practitioners in our learning material as well. So generally a well-rounded degree where we provide some theoretical knowledge and broader social context and social policy, as well as some practical skills like group work, community work and counselling, and then how you apply them together, including some field education subjects, which I'll talk about in a moment. Yeah, we use a practical model, a flexible model as well. So rather than lectures, we use pre-learning material that you do in your own time online. It includes academic readings and online lectures, but also some content that's more relevant to today's community and human service sector. So that might include things like podcasts, documentaries, reports and policy documents. When you do come on campus or do tutorial type work online, we use that time to interact and apply our learning, so often to real case scenarios. So that's where our practical application in our active learning model. For example, I teach into the first year subject around theories and models of practice. So as well as using your pre-learning to learn about things like systems theories, critical theories and cognitive behavioural theories, we then also apply those to practical situations in your active learning sessions, so often with real world type of examples. As I mentioned, there is field education, that's in year 2 and year 3, and that's really where the rubber hits the road and you really get a chance to put your learning into practice. So 20 days in the second year and then the 70 days in the third year placement. So we have strong links in the industry and the sector. Our field education team have relationships with organisations, so often we'll have students who go to placements every year at the same organisations, as well as the opportunity to develop relationships with new organisations as well at times. So for example, we had a student recently who wanted to be placed in a particular rural area, and so they were able to work with organisations in that area and find a placement that met her interest areas as well as her needs. The third year final placement is a great opportunity to develop those relationships that often progress into work opportunities. So whether it's in the organisation that you actually do your placement with, or it might be in an organisation that you've developed a relationship with. Recently we had a student who was working with the local council as part of their placement in another organisation, and then they subsequently went on and got some employment with the local government, who became a bit of a fan of that person and their work. So I guess just as a quick overview, we have a real commitment in the Community and Human Service teaching team to the sector and to preparing students to be the high quality practitioners that we need in the industry. This means we have a lot of positive relationships and connections between students and teaching staff, and we are there really to support you to understand yourselves and to understand the world around you to provide quality graduates for our sector. So thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Michelle. A really great overview of the Bachelor of Community and Human Services. Once again, I'd just like to take you through the basic details of the program. So our Bachelor of Community and Human Services currently costs $24,000 per year. Again, we have a possible 16% tuition fee reduction for students who meet the assessment level of our International Excellence Scholarship, which would reduce the fees to $20,160 per year. In terms of entry requirements, all applicants must have successfully completed Australian Year 12 high school studies or the recognised equivalent in your home country. And for English, you need to have achieved an overall academic IELTS score of 6.5 with no individual band restrictions or equivalent test score. So our Bachelor of Community and Human Services is available at the Ballarat, Berwick and Gippsland campuses. Again, we have a July start coming up, although it's likely to be online for offshore international students. Our final speaker, Mohammed Salman, can offer a great perspective into both of these programs. As an international student who began life at Federation as a student on our Master of Social Work qualifying degree, and while still studying, now also works with us as an online tutor on our Bachelor of Community and Human Services. So thanks for being with us today, Mohammed. To start with, could you please tell us a little bit about your background and why you decided to enroll on the Master of Social Work at Federation?
Yeah, hi Dan, thanks for having me on board. So yeah, my background is majorly in public health and also in healthcare management. I've been working in the healthcare sector. That includes hospital services, working in the administration services, and also working in the health insurance, medical insurance, also in the medical legal services more recently. So majority of my experiences come from those areas, and I've been, mostly involved also with healthcare research and clinical research as well, in quite very diverse topics. From those perspectives, I've had this, experiences of actually looking at systems change, because most of the research has been focusing on the impacts on communities, including patients and families. So looking at those impacts, it alludes to the point where systems need some sort of reform or some sort of change. And so thinking in those terms, I've had many interactions with social workers who have actually been involved in management and policy and also in advocacy roles. And in those interactions, actually, it really sort of that's that language about systems change and looking at policy and those sorts of things, and even research, actually really spoke to me. So in those interactions, I was able to actually recognize social work as actually a very is what I'm looking for. And the further exploration on the internet actually led me to Federation University website. There's so many others. There's so many factors that actually drove my interest towards actually enrolling into FedUni campus, FedUni Master of Social Work program. And some of them are basically the fees is very affordable, and also it's located in a place where there's more development happening and there's a lot of opportunities that comes along with it. Also the public transport and also the affordability in living in terms of all those things actually really makes a perfect opportunity for actually a person to learn and as well as internalize those learnings and actually apply those things in a community where there is an opportunity, there's amazing opportunity for international students.
Right, I think we can maybe hear a bit of the public transport in the background there. Yes. How have you found the degree, Mohammed? What have been some of the best things about the degree?
So the degree is really it really challenges you. It's a package. It's a package of a lot of things, and a lot of things are actually about theory, about practice, and about applying those things. So it's not just you going back home and just reading stuff and doing your assignments. It's actually how you as a person actually are able to absorb that information, and then you as a person are actually evolving within those 2 years of highly intensive education. And why I say intensive is because the structure of itself actually allows so much information that is provided to you. So you as a person are provided these tools, and you are actually, from a professional perspective, are actually absorbing that information and trying to recognize the range of tools that apply in your context. And that is such an important thing, because we've got placements as well, and we've got 2 placements each 70 days. And those placements actually are very central to your learning and how you in the future become a social worker, and then go on to make changes. It may be at an individual level, or it may be a community level, or it may be at a systems level. So again, that experience is very linked to yourself, and also to the resources that the university provides, which is the library services, which is an excellent service. From my experience of the service being too responsive, actually, without me having to be too proactive with the service. I find the service is proactive in return to me. During my learning assignments, especially during assignments. So library service is perfect. Even we've got cafes which actually are really good. I don't know, in my context was perfect. And even the setting of on fortnightly lectures, and having the entire day to actually interact with your lecturers and tutors and even students, it's like that whole day thing is like a perfect opportunity to catch up on things and discuss further. So yeah, I absolutely, the last bit is the staff members who are actually part of your networking, because this is an opportunity for you to not only study but also network with lecturers, with tutors. They are there because they are professionals in the field, and they belong to the community. So yeah, everything is an opportunity at this point.
Okay, great. So you're talking about the community in Ballarat. You talked about the affordability and the convenience earlier, but what's your experience of living in Ballarat in general? I know you lived in Melbourne for a while before, so yeah, how are you finding Ballarat?
So Ballarat, initially it was a bit intimidating, because it's new for me. For me, it was totally new, and then it also meant that I had to do a bit of traveling around, and I just didn't know the place. But that was basically me having that Melbourne lens on, and I would see things, look at and go and say, oh, that's too far, or that's too close, or that's not needed. But over time, and it doesn't take too long as well, just maybe a couple of weeks, and then you get that lens off. That lens is gone, and now you've got this Ballarat lens on, and or maybe your lens turns into this Ballarat lens, which you actually start understanding. Oh, look, it's a perfect opportunity, because there's so many things happening, and those things happening are actually opportunities for you to develop and increase your productivity. I feel like coming to Ballarat has actually improved my productivity compared to Melbourne, because I'm a sort of person who likes to be in a place where it's more quiet, it's more chill, it's more, everything is more accessible, not too complicated, and even the traffic, traffic seems to be a bit on the low side, not too high all the time. So that even that is actually contributing to my learning experience, and also having the direct access to nature, sunlight, and open air. That sort of exposure is very unique to Ballarat compared to Melbourne. And I've already talked about the affordability and stuff, which I think is like one of the major highlights of moving to Ballarat. I think Ballarat provides this amazing environment, rather than just an opportunity, but an environment to actually internalize all those experiences, learning experiences.
Great. And like I was saying before, you started as a student with us. You now work with us as an online tutor for the Bachelor of Community and Human Services. Could you tell us a bit about how that came about?
Yeah, so that sort of came as during my placement, during my placement in a research project, and during the time, what happened was I'm actually working with the supervisor, who is also the educator, and also with other different stakeholders, and these are stakeholders who are external stakeholders. And so in that environment, I think what I've done is I've actually I've not considered myself as a student. I've not bogged down to having a student to supervisor or a staff member relationship. It's more about being a professional, because all the knowledge that you gained and everything that you've applied in your assignments, now it's the time to be pragmatic about it. And that's the time to show your pragmatic skills and being also having a certain level of emotional resiliency as well, and not being, again, it all comes down to that being professional at the job you do, and take it as a job, taking your placement as a job and not as a placement, as a training sort of thing. So taking it as a job and actually dealing with it professionally actually helps you connect with supervisors and also external stakeholders. And as I've said before, we are in placements, we are dealing with people who are from the community and who are belonging in a network. And you are new to the network, so I was actually introducing myself and being, and not introducing myself primarily as a student, but more like a person who has experience and who has qualifications, who has done things before, and also have had previous experiences in teaching as well. But that's not the major point. The major point is being confident, being able to, take opportunities and take risks, and, applying all those together. And yeah, and, I think in that journey itself, by doing that, the lecturers and not the lecturer, the supervisor was looking forward to, me getting a sort of a job in teaching that would actually require a lot of, resiliency and being able to manage time and stuff. So yeah.
Okay, great. And just to finish, what are your plans for the future, and how has your time at Federation changed your ambitions?
Yeah, so I really would love to actually work in the research and policy area, especially in the healthcare sector. And so as a social worker, even though we understand there's a lot of face-to-face practitioner sort of experience and knowledge, but also there's huge component of policy and research, and also working in communities and also working at an environmental level. So that is what has really caught my interest. So I really love to work in a hospital social work area, working as a clinical social work, and then working my way up towards working in the policy and the research area, and recognizing that social work as actually a very, compared to the medical and the nursing departments, and social work is actually a department which actually needs to be further expanded. And and this is because social workers are actually providing, making an impact in patient and families' lives. So in those terms, social policy is something that's been a huge interest to me in the healthcare area. And so this has been a career change for me. FedUni has provided the tools, and I want to employ those, working in the healthcare sector and expanding on that.
Okay, thanks so much, Mohammed, for those really insightful and inspiring thoughts on how to make the most of your time as a social work student. It's definitely a degree that offers a range of fascinating and challenging career opportunities. And I think you're doing future students a real favor by telling them to focus on building those connections on campus and through industry placements. So thanks again to you and to all of today's speakers.